Hello and welcome to another Eat Sleep Code, the official Teller podcast. I'm your host, Ed Charbonneau, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, John Bristow. How you doing, John?
I'm well. I hope everyone else is doing fantastic. It's a lovely Friday slash Saturday. We've had a busy week of tech news and tech things, and yeah, we've been really busy at Octopus. Lots of stuff going on there. So, new website, new bits. It's all happening.
New website. We're gonna have to take a look at that. You
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier. We need to put that on the list of
Oh, it's
things to
kind
look
of a
at.
teaser, I guess. Yeah.
It's been a busy week here too as well. We've got the Telerik release stuff coming up, and then we've also been planning something that we probably should announce here real quick. Let me switch this over, and we can do a quick announcement on something I like to call DevReach. You know DevReach, John? You know DevReach. You've
A
been
little
to
bit of
many
a
DevReach.
little bit of a fan of DevReach.
Yeah, so
Some
DevReach is back, and I should probably just play the intro reel and let it kind of speak for itself for a moment. There you go. You have
very nice.
plenty of time to plan. It is in October this year. If you want to come out to a major event in Europe, explore the very historic Sofia, Bulgaria, I highly recommend coming out, checking out DevReach. It's going to be a great show. We've got the one and only Layla Porter, our team, lots of amazing speakers from Microsoft and throughout the community. So get your tickets, check out devreach.com. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a couple of years since I've been out there because of the pandemic and whatnot. So it'd be nice to catch up with friends, bringing the whole family this time. Just
Oh,
all of us
really?
are, yeah, we're all just gonna go this
Wow.
time. Yep.
It's quite a journey from Australia. I will say that getting to Bulgaria. So it's at least 3 flights.
Yeah, I've got 3 flights myself, but they're not as long as your flights. Like
Yeah.
one of my longest flight is probably the shorter of your flights.
Hey, when
We looked at them. I have a daughter in Okinawa, Japan,
mm,
and she was like, "Wonder if I could go." And she looked it up. It's like a 33-hour flight.
yep. That's
Yeah,
what happens when you live in the world's basement, it takes a long time to get there.
yeah. So it'll be an amazing event, though. I am definitely looking forward to it. Let's get on with some news, John. We've got
Sure.
news to share. You're probably gonna enjoy my news a lot less, but we've got some of yours first. So
Sure.
I'll let you go first here. Turbocharge your Visual Studio experience with Microsoft DevBox.
Yeah, so Build was, as people know, last week. They did a bunch of announcements there, including all kinds of stuff around AI. We saw the announcement of Windows Copilot. We saw all kinds of large language models, everything
Mm-hmm.
to under the sun to possibly help you auto gen and help with your day to day. But this is one that I think most developers saw as the most interesting, I would think. So Microsoft DevBox is a service that's provided through Azure that basically provides these environments in the cloud, basically. So this is a common practice that people will. You may, it's not an old idea. It's not a new idea. I should get my terms right. It's an idea that you can persist your environments elsewhere and then have them provision quickly. And so Microsoft DevBox is exactly that. This idea that I can provision environments for VS and other things for my developer workflows quickly and easily through this service. And
Yeah,
allows you to share settings, allows you to persist all kinds of things like secrets, etc. Really quick load times, just basically ready to go at a moment's notice.
I'm oversimplifying here, but it's for lack of a better term, virtual machines for developers. So you've got your VM with all of your Visual Studio, the environment that's required for your particular app to get it running and do development on it. You let the cloud handle all that
Why
infrastructure
not?
stuff
Yep.
instead of
Why not?
having I've seen things like we've got this old workstation in the back room that we got to dredge out when it's time to do maintenance on this forever ago built app, but nobody touched the machine because if you
That's right.
mess it up, we're
That's
gonna
right.
have to figure out how to install Visual Studio 2010 again.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long experience to install those things, and I think that developers don't typically want to go through that. But at the same time, there are different SKUs of the dev box, and they're priced pretty well. So you can get a 4 vCPU machine with 16 gigs of RAM for basically 62 cents an hour, and then you can go all the way up to like an 8 vCPU, 32 gig RAM for $1.20 roughly, which is pretty reasonable. Then that also can include storage as well. Obviously, you need storage for files, etc. So the pricing options are quite reasonable, and I think that for a lot of developers out there who are typically frustrated with having to provision environments and then get them set up just right. I mean, it's more than just the environment itself, the baseline of Visual Studio. It's also all the additional parts and pieces that go along for the ride. Like as you rightly know, there's a bunch of extensions that you can get installed. There's a bunch of SKUs that you can install, and so having to provision all that and get that all set up can be a bit of a nightmare, for lack of a better term. And so
Yeah.
what Microsoft DevBox provides is basically this service in the cloud that you can just quickly provision these things. And I thought this was probably one of the most interesting uh, conversations to be had at Build. Like I said, there was a bunch of stuff announced, but this was the one that kind of jumped out at me.
Yeah. This is a easy upgrade path too. Like I said, you don't have to like re-provision an entire machine when you need to get it faster. You know, as these apps evolve over time, they get bigger. Your machine's not getting any faster, right? You've still got the same, you know, 16, 32 gigs of RAM on your desktop or whatever you're using. And then a couple of years go by and that machine's getting slow. You got to, tear down an entire machine and rebuild a new one just to do some upgrades. Instead, you could just, upgrade your dev box. Much easier to do in the cloud than it is with physical hardware.
Nice.
It's a great
I like
idea.
it. Yeah.
Me too. Team City
Yes.
2023.05 is like a mid-year release here. Some
It was
new
an update
stuff.
that yeah, I mean, normally I wouldn't mention these ones because Team City continues to march along. We use Team City at Octopus, and we're fans, and they've added a bunch of new features. So Team City, for those who don't know, is a CI solution or continuous integration solution or build server, for lack of a better term, and it provides a bunch of really nice capabilities. It's quite popular for folks who target, for example, Java. But some of the new features include like dark mode or dark theme support. They have an ability now to remotely connect to agents. So there's an agent terminal capability. There's also security capabilities, GitHub app connection that's also supported. So I just like throwing these in once in a while because it's important for folks to realize that there's choice out there beyond just GitHub and GitLab for
Yeah.
CI solutions. There's Circle CI. There's a bunch of others as well. There's
There's GitHub integration
Build
too.
Kite. Yep. Yeah. So GitHub app connection is important because obviously if you're talking between servers or services rather, so GitHub talking to Team City, those things are definitely important, especially if you want to flow things like identity or operations and things like that. So this is a bit of a minor update, but it's something that I like to throw in there once in a while just to let people know.
Very nice. This looks like one of the stories that you like, where you're
Yes.
digging in behind the scenes, the
I know. I love
infrastructure
these.
of the
I know.
things that we love to use and take for
These
granted.
I know these are the 30 for 30 sort of episodes I like. So this is a podcast slash video web series called Open Observability. It's from the folks over at Logs. They make a great solution for it's basically a unified solution for managing all your logs, analyzing, collecting, etc. So logs.io. They have this show called Open Observability, and they recently interviewed folks from the team at Backstage, which is a solution from Spotify. So Backstage, which is available at backstage.io, is a solution for creating developer portals. As you and I know, Ed, I'll get your name right, is that when you develop solutions out there, you have services, you have APIs, you have docs, you have dependencies, and all that stuff is kind of hard to manage. And so what Backstage provides is a one-stop shop, a single pane of glass for viewing all this information. And so Backstage was something that evolved out of Spotify. Spotify initially built it internally, and then they made it available. And now it's part of the CNCF, or the Cloud Native Foundation. And so this is an interview talking to Lee Mills, who's a member of the team, about Spotify, the early days of Backstage, how they decided to make it open source, etc. And the reason why this is relevant for Octopus is because we now have a plugin written by a member of our community for Octopus, which means you can now expose your deployments through Backstage. There's a CI/CD capability built into Backstage as well. So worth mentioning. But like I said, if you're at all curious, backstage.io is a website, and really kind of applies to this notion of what's now called platform engineering, and kind of is an evolution of the DevOps story, and provides that service and capability internally for dev teams, which is really important.
Nice. Very cool. Move on to some language stuff, John. I'm a big fan of Ruby. I haven't used it in a bit, but still feel like it's one of the more interesting languages to write with. And there's some pretty big improvements that have come in the last couple versions. 3.30 is out now. And just like .NET, they're trying to progress the platform by building in better performance. And they have an experimental JIT compiler now. It doesn't require a C compiler. It does
Interesting.
JIT at runtime. So there's two that you can choose from, two JITs you can choose from right now. But this experimental one sounds pretty interesting.
RJIT and YJIT. Interesting.
Yep.
Yet another Ruby JIT compiler.
Why not? Why not? Ruby's always been a fun language, I thought, to write code in.
I like Ruby. I did write a framework in Ruby about 2 years ago. We built an extension for a solution called Workato, and they're a partner of ours, and they have integration through Ruby on their platform, and we built an extension for Octopus that way. So I got my hands dirty in the Ruby side of things for a while. I think what this speaks to, and I think I'll make the connection in a second, but I think Go really demonstrates, the Go programming language demonstrates the reason why you want to invest in your build tools. Go's build tools are fantastic, and it's a really strong selling point of the language. This is part of the reason why developers like tools like Go. I think Rust also falls in that camp as well. Mm-hmm. And I think the Ruby team is realizing, like, hey, we need to experiment and produce better solutions for developers going forward relative to this. And so I'm glad to see this is happening, because Ruby for the longest time was always espoused as like, oh, it's very, all the tenets around Ruby, like being dry, and it's a really nice language to develop in, and you've got Rails as well as a framework, etc.
Yeah. Unit testing's really big in that community as well.
Yes. So like Ruby's had that message for a while, but it doesn't land as strongly, I think, than say, hey, if you build something, it runs everywhere, or the executables are really small, or it's highly performant. You got to put the investment in the compiler tools for that.
Yep. And it's a dynamic language as well, so it's usually I don't recall. I think it wasn't multi-threaded when I was using it either. So there was some performance things that people complained about. So it's nice to see they're tackling that just the same way .NET. We're always tackling the performance stuff with .NET. And you made a mention of Ruby, or I mean Rust here as well. I've got some Rust on deck.
Nice.
So this is more of a how-to style article, but I thought it was still worth looking at because I don't know how to do anything in Rust yet. Something I need to pick up and play with a little bit once I find some time.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
this is bookmarked for me.
Okay.
If
Rust.
you need
There's a
efforts.
bit of a debate ongoing right now in the dev community, whatever that means. But whether whether people need to look at Rust or they want to look at Crablang because of what's happening vis-a-vis the Rust Foundation at the moment. People are looking at Zig as an alternative now because they're not happy with what's happening there as well. So, but yeah, Rust has a bunch of crates available for doing a variety of different things. And I guess this is an article that talks about the IO stuff
Yep,
relative
this
to
is
Rust.
particular to file IO,
Okay.
and thought it was pretty interesting because who doesn't need to do file IO in a real world application? You got to read data from somewhere. Might as well learn a little bit about file IO. So again, it's more of a tutorial thing, but if you're getting started with Rust, look no further. Check
I
out
always like
the
watching
guide to
these.
working with text files.
I always like watching people navigate sites like this that are littered with ads because you
This
get
one's pretty
what you
bad.
end what ends up happening is you end up discovering a lot about the person through their ads. So obviously you look a lot at Microsoft stuff, but it's always interesting. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a biomarker of some sort.
it's like a privacy leak.
Sure.
At least it's all work related here.
You look
Nothing
at a lot
shady
of
going
Azure
on.
stuff there. Yeah.
All right. So moving on from Rust to the topic that's pretty much everywhere these days,
Oh geez.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
Um, this is a
Or
nice
do you
one.
pay question, do you pay for ChatGPT? Do you have a
I
paid account?
don't at the moment. I almost signed up for one, but the project that I was working on, I had to put on the back burner for a short period of
Okay.
time. So I may go back and get it when I start working on that
I
project again.
started paying I started paying for it, and I started paying for it for the plugins, and I've been
Mhm.
using the plugins a little bit. It's okay.
Have you seen any of these? So we've got 10 ways you can use ChatGPT with Visual Studio Code. So you might learn about some plugins to use here. Are you talking about plugins into ChatGPT or like from other
Correct. So there
applications
are
into it?
ChatGPT itself has a plugin model.
Ah,
So they have a
okay.
browsing plugin. They have a variety of other plugins as well. They've just started kind of opening it up to the developer community, and that was one of the things I was interested in. So what this is are extensions for VS Code to enable other capabilities, I'm assuming, of ChatGPT.
Absolutely. So you can install these extensions right into your Visual Studio Code and interact with ChatGPT in various ways. Um, some of these help you code, and then others, may help with like this one's refactor your code. So it's an extension for that. A debugging extension. So you can ask GPT for opinions on how to debug your code.
Stop trying to be a software developer. Give up. There's no help.
Yeah, let Chat GPT do it for you. Write your code in another language. I thought that one was pretty cool. So it's kind of like a code conversion tool, which we've had a code conversion tool on the Telerik site for quite some time, and
I was just
it's
gonna
actually
say if
been
this
like
was
really popular.
I know if this was 2004, I'd be really excited.
Ouch. Oh, be careful. The AI is listening, John.
I know. That's the thing you gotta worry about. I always say please and thank you when I use Chat GPT. So
It's pretty cool though. You can highlight the code that you wrote and say
sure,
create
sure.
equivalent in some other language, and it will try to translate it for you. And I think that's actually really handy if you're working on a project maybe that you're not familiar with that language, but you're like really proficient, say it like C
Something else,
sharp,
yeah. Yeah.
and you're dabbling in this, like a C application. You're like, what would this be? You write it all out and say, just translate this to C for me because I don't really know exactly what I'm doing here.
Yep. Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I
Hmm.
could see myself using that for something.
Nice.
Um, generate a front end component for your API. So I guess this would be similar to
Open API and all
Open
these Swagger.
API.
Yep.
Yeah,
Swagger and Honeybear and all that stuff. Yep.
yeah. Explain code blocks.
Yep.
Assume you've grabbed a piece of code from Stack Overflow. Like,
Who would do that, Ed? No one.
I don't
No
know.
one would ever do that.
You can ask ChatGPT to explain it to you. That is
What is
that's
this?
pretty cool.
What does this do? It does nothing. Don't worry about it.
Generate HTML templates for your application.
Okay. Nice.
I see something about emails in here. We're not going to write email HTML, are we? That's not going to help.
Oh, come on.
Unit test your code. So there's test-driven development, and then there's I forgot to do test-driven development. Just have it write tests for you after the fact.
Good luck.
How about that? Because that always works out well in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Find potential security vulnerabilities. That actually
Yes.
can be really useful.
This
Those
one
are
I've
hard
done.
to sniff
This
out.
one I've done where people have posted, like I've taken just random snippets and said, "Tell me about this code and are there any possible exploits, etc."
Very cool. Ask VS Code related questions. So I guess this is to kind of help you navigate VS Code itself. So if there's new features, things that you're trying to do and don't know how to do it in VS Code, this can help
Right.
guide the way.
Yep.
So it's kind of like the RTFM, like you didn't read the manual, so you're having ChatGPT do it for you. Very meta, by the way.
Yes.
That whole idea. I always
Yes.
thought of that. Very clever. Write documentation directly from VS Code, so you can help generate your documentation, which that could be definitely helpful. So this was actually pretty good read here. So that's 10 ways you can use ChatGPT with VS Code. That was on Make Use of.
Interesting.
All right, John. Are you
We've
ready?
been just hang on. We've been talking about ChatGPT forever. If you're going to show me a VR article, we're going to need a video clip. Can it, that's similar to can it run Doom? Is it is it a VR simulation? But we've been talking about ChatGPT since November, if I remember correctly, and it's amazing how it's just exploded. I'm just taking a moment here to kind of just be like shake my head and like, wow, it's amazing how it's everywhere.
I've got no transition other than this.
3 hours later.
Perfect.
That's the best I can do for you.
Okay.
Because we're going straight into it, John.
Oh,
We're going
God.
straight into. This was on Mac Rumors.
Of course.
They're saying that Meta has announced the Quest 3 to try to
Why?
steal some of the thunder from next week's WWDC,
Yeah.
where Apple is expected to unveil a VR headset as well. So the Meta headset is going to be the first AR headset for, I want to call them Facebook. We all want to call them Facebook, but the first AR headset for Meta. So this is very HoloLens-like, and it does both VR and this augmented reality type of a feature with it that makes it kind of a competitor to the HoloLens, but at the entry price point of $499, so $500. $500, 128 gigs of storage. That's actually really cheap, though, if you think about what this is. A good smartphone costs you what, John? What are people paying
when it comes
for
to this
smartphones
stuff
these days? I'm super cheap, so prices may vary between the two of us, but like
all I'm thinking when looking at this is they've got the double slit experiment running in the front there. You got these controllers that get all gummy and stuff. I'm just waiting for all, like I keep watching these videos on TikTok of people like hitting people who are passing by while the person's doing a VR experience. Like, I think this is the real benefit of this is just just watching people do things like this. This is unbelievable.
I mean, you've got the full pass-through AR, color AR. So some of the silliness of like bashing your TV, or I actually broke a coffee mug. That's the worst thing I did. Put my fist through a coffee mug that was on a table nearby.
Yeah, look at this. Look, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, those things will be less possible because you're going to actually be able to see those things and not accidentally break them. So it's getting a lot more real, John.
Okay.
So those cameras on the front, got
Oh, God.
the mixed reality, and there's the demo
Dungeons and
that
Dragons. Now you
calls
don't have to
back
play. Now you don't have
to.
to play with. You can be a true introvert. You don't have to play with friends anymore. You can play Dungeons and Dragons by yourself.
I remember when the HoloLens first came out, they had the Minecraft on a table demo that never actually got released in any real capacity anywhere.
I
But
have to take
it
a
looked
moment here.
exactly like this.
I played Dungeons and Dragons growing up. I'm not joking, for
Mhm.
years. And look at this guy's reaction playing. I never reacted ever when playing Dungeons and Dragons. Most of the time I had like Cheeto dust all over my chest, and I was just throwing the dice from across the room. Like I can't do this anymore. We've been in this dungeon for 5 hours. What are we doing? Like, let's go out and play street hockey. And
I
I was
mean,
just like, I never got this excited about Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry.
at least the look here will help you in in the
I got a
dating
big
world.
head. I got a big head. It won't fit my head. Like, there's so many
Like,
problems here for me.
like if it was hard enough to find a mate playing
This is so
D&D already.
bad. This is
Sorry,
so bad.
my perpetuating stereotypes.
No, but like,
I feel bad.
well,
I
like,
shouldn't be
look,
saying
Dungeons
these
and Dragons was great for us nerdy guys who didn't, and girls, sorry.
I knew
And
plenty of
yeah,
guys and gals that played Dungeons
I
and
did. I
Dragons.
remember it was awesome. Like, it was just a breakaway from reality. But now it's like, no, just put this thing on your face, and then you're,
Yeah.
you don't have to talk to anyone. It's like, okay.
So that is coming out soon. I'm actually excited. I will probably end up buying one.
Please don't, Ed. Save your money.
I will
Please.
probably end up buying
Why?
one, and then
Why?
we will have to see what this is all about Monday. So apparently, if you look at this on an Apple mobile device,
Mm-hmm.
this website, the Apple logo that is here acts like an AR lens, and you can see like I think it's the date, like June 6th or June 5th.
Got it right here.
Is here. Oh, can you see it?
I'm looking.
There's
It's
supposed to
right
be some
there.
sort of Easter egg in it. Yeah, I don't know if we can see that here. Let me see if I can put you on camera, John. Nope, that is me. That is all me. How do I swap this?
I don't know.
Let's try.
I present. There you go. Oh, that's good enough. There you go. Yeah. So there's the view. What am I supposed to do now? Ed's kicking.
So
there you go.
apparently,
You muted yourself.
It's supposed to act like a lens, but I don't see it happening. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
How's that?
Hey, you got
Is that
the look
working?
down. You got the look down there, John. Welcome to the future.
I know. I'm not going to try.
Give it a try yourselves, folks. There's supposed to be something you can do with that logo. I don't know if you need to tap on it or fiddle with it or whatever, but you can see through it, and it's supposed to be an Easter egg to their announcement that they're actually going to pull the trigger on this thing.
So WWDC, what do you anticipate there, Ed? What are you thinking might be announced?
Things that have been announced by other companies before but weren't yet revolutionary.
Yep. A lot of wooing in the audience. Woo!
Revolutionary, though. They
Yes.
reinvented AR, John.
Sure.
We'll see.
But no, they were the first to invent it.
Yes. And then
This is
then
a lot of
this
tongue in
one.
cheek, folks. Yes.
Absolutely. The deadpan humor is
Mhm.
not probably coming through well on the internet,
No.
but it is here. And it's not going away anytime soon. Spacetop, the augmented reality laptop. So, laptops have screens. Why not have glasses instead of screens, John? Then you have as many or as little screens as you'd like.
I think the question was posed incorrectly. It's not why not. It should be why.
Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen, aren't I?
No, you're sharing the right screen.
But I've got like all the doodads and stuff here with it. Oh, no,
Okay.
that's it. Never mind. I was seeing the StreamYard over the top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question
Hold on,
isn't
let's
why
zoom
not. The question is generally just why. Why this?
There it goes. Oh, how did they actually
Through
shared
through
the
Google Drive.
MP4
That's why.
file.
I know.
They Google Drived it.
Yeah,
Cow.
that's where
I
they're
thought this is on
posting it.
YouTube.
Yes. No, it's the same player, but it's through Google Drive. Oh yeah, here we go. This
They're
is the
pretty
look I
slim
want.
glasses.
Yeah, this is the look I want. I look.
It's not so
this
much
is-
the look you want; it's where you have the look you want.
yeah, I'm in the back of my van, overlooking the beach, holding my. There's always a cup of tea being held closely to the chest.
Yeah.
These are for the digital nomads. Yuck. No thanks.
Yeah, because
Amazing
your
work.
network
Enjoy the
connection is going to be
suns. Yes.
solid there.
I know. It's always like the sip of tea. What is this? Like it's like a health ad, you know. Ask your doctor if Spacetop is right for you, you know.
Like we
So-
can't even get the internet to work to do a solid show on a Thursday. So you know how good internet connectivity is on an island, John.
Yes, exactly.
As big as your island is, imagine how great it is wherever she's at.
I'm just imagining it. Trust me. What is the
Not to
okay?
mention-
So questions I have is what's the battery life for this device? I would imagine it's reasonable. What's the fidelity? What's the throughput? Can it work in high light, like sunlight areas? My guess is no. You need to probably be enclosed in a dark room, so that negates all the experience of what that person was just having.
I mean, the back of a candy van is.
It's not
I
a
guess.
candy van.
That's what my kid
Free
calls it. I'm
candy.
sorry.
It's not a candy van. It's a digital nomad. That's what it is, dude. Like people live out of
Again,
vans now. They do this all over
I
Australia. I have friends
hope
who
I'm
do
not
this.
offending anybody by
No,
saying
no.
that.
But it's
Like
not
that's
a candy
actually
van.
what my kid like. She's to skateboard. She's like, yeah, the skate team has a candy van now. I'm like,
Free candy. All right, perfect. No, this is a digital nomad. This is a very popular thing in Australia. So yeah,
yeah.
people are pointing out that you need an ad blocker as well.
Yeah, I always figure the fact that we're using content from other people that
Sure.
we probably should respect the ads. If you want to ad block your own pages, that's fine, but we're probably crossing boundaries if we ad block and then and share someone else's content. Probably
You know
not
what,
too
Ed?
good.
I'm quickly realizing that you're not showing these in our show out of interest. You're doing this out of trying to get a rise out of me.
You think I'm
This is why you're
trolling you,
doing-
John? I know
Yes, you are
think I'm
trolling me.
you, but it's a cool idea. Would I use
it though?
this particular device? Probably.
Is it though
not.
a cool idea?
So the hard part about these is the whole typing interface. I'm always like, I can type. I don't need to look at a keyboard. And then you put VR glasses on and try to type, and you're like, okay, maybe I do look at the keyboard a little bit more than I thought.
Look, as a 40-something-year-old man, all I think of is sciatica when I see a person sitting that way.
Well, I
for
mean,
that
it's
length of
VR glasses.
time.
You don't have to sit. You can stand. It could be a standing
Fine.
desk. All you have to do is stand up. You just have to have somewhere to hold the keyboard.
That is the worst. That is the worst possible way to sit when you have a laptop. I'm telling you, you get sciatica
is.
in no time.
You could always have like a backpack with like a tray table attached to the front. And then you could wear the glasses and just have the. I mean, come on, John. You're not thinking outside the screen.
I am definitely
box.
thinking outside as in reality, not VR. So thank you, but no, I'm not doing this.
So the resolution on VR is not normally great, but and I just lost like my screens, both of them for a second.
No, you're
But
fine.
yeah, looks like it's streaming okay. But to me, it was all black.
No, you're good.
So the Quest 1 and 2, I would not want to spend any length of time in front of those screens. Definitely agree with the comment in chat here. But, it's getting better. So eventually these things will be as good as your, UHD or 4K
No, they won't.
monitors.
No, they won't.
Just wait till Monday when Apple
Nope.
releases their
Not gonna wait.
M2 powered
Nope.
super duper high res,
Not gonna wait.
revolutionary,
Not gonna wait.
$6,000
They will
headset.
never be as good as a monitor. I'm saying right now.
Never. He said never,
Never.
folks. Never.
Never.
You never need that 640K of memory. It's way too much.
That's
Never.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying the opposite. You can't exceed the fidelity of a monitor when you've got bits right there. You can't project stuff. You can't project fidelity. I'm sorry. You just can't.
And then we've got our big release, John. Our new Teller
Nice.
components, tools, UI components, dev tools, all the reporting. You
guys need 3
it's
days
out
now
there.
to announce everything. It's
We
crazy
actually
how
have
much stuff.
3 days, yeah.
I know, but like that's the thing. Like it's like
8th.
most people get through it in a day. You
9th.
guys need 3.
June 12th. Yeah, we need our own build. Our own build day would be Teller
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
next again.
How do you guys ship it all? Like it's just crazy to me. And I work for a deployment
Over
company.
the internet. It's all downloads these days. On 3.5-inch floppies. No, I know what you mean.
Perfect.
It's very, very sarcastic now.
Yes.
It would be fun though to ship them on floppies, wouldn't it? Just for
Sure.
old
Bring it
time's
back.
sake.
Retro. That's a technology I would continue to support as opposed to VR.
And then you said you have a brand new. Oh, we think we showed this on the website.
Yeah, we
before.
do, but there's
Or
some
on the show.
niceties to it. So if you expand the product thing at the top there, you see how it says product at the top? So we've got these like nice little flyouts and everything, and
updates,
we got a new banner, and so yeah, new stuff.
Nice looking graphics.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
So
very, very slick.
I know we try.
I'm trying
It's
to
not as slick
remember-
as it's not as slick as your announcements, right? So you guys have a pretty good. I think Telerik and Octopus do a very good job with the design elements of their websites. I think so.
Except for the non-button buttons.
Well,
You still haven't fixed that, John?
why would you click that? You're assuming
It's a button.
it's a VR button, Ed. If you
Oh,
use a
I need to
VR
put
head,
my
if you use a
HoloLens
VR
on.
headset, that is actually clickable. So just for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna keep giving you, keep harassing you over
Sure,
the non-button
Bring it on.
buttons.
bring
The
it
rest
on.
of it
I love it.
looks amazing. Love it.
Yeah,
Love
good.
love the UI stuff here. It looks really cool.
yes.
And that's all we've got for a Friday show, folks. Sorry, that's it. But I could find some more AR topics. I think if you'd like, John.
Nope. I think we need definitely Can It VR segue. So Can It
We
Play
do.
Doom
I need to
has
work
been
on that.
popular. Yeah.
If I could find a way to reuse the Beavis and Butthead link that I sent you privately,
Right.
that would be a great stinger. But I don't know how long that would last before it got DCMA'd. But
Yes.
it was, so to recap, there's a great, they brought back that show Beavis and Butthead, and there's a great commentary on VR in there where they go to the mall and just put on regular sunglasses and think they're in VR, and all I could hear is John in the back of my head going, "This is it. Just go outside, put on sunglasses and go outside, Ed."
Yep. They proved the model.
They did. All right, folks. We'll let you get on with your weekends, and we'll see you next week after the big release webinars. So have fun and take
Have
care.
fun with that. Good luck.
All right. And we're out, John.